book talk. Today I'm talking about Chinese lives, Chinese American and Chinese authors. So I'm going to talk about the nonfiction one first, and then I'll get into fiction. So I just read this as an ebook. It's called My Chinese America by Alan G. It first came on my radar because he wrote an essay in response to some kind of racist video that was put out by this female student at UCLA when she was complaining about all the Asians in the library. And she went on this rant on YouTube, and this was a few years ago. And then there was like a whole response to it on social media and everything. And an Asian comedian did a whole thing, a spoof on it, and made a song about it. So he writes about that kind of thing. It's very interesting because he's self-proclaimed the non-stereotypical Asian American. He excelled in basketball when he was in high school, and then he went on to be an English teacher, which is not a field that a lot of Chinese Americans go into. It's more like mathematics or engineering. And so he became an English teacher, and then he settled in the South teaching in Georgia. So there were like no Asians there. Like there's 1% of the population is Asian down there. So he talks about that being an Asian in Georgia, totally not stereotypical. So it's very interesting, and I thought his writing was great. Now this, you can't get this print book in our system currently. You can get it on Amazon, but this is on Biblioboard, and I've talked about Biblioboard in the past. It's an app you can download. It's called Biblioboard, and if you want to read it online, it's library.biblioboard.com. It's free. You just click in. You don't have to put your library card or make an account. You can make an account if you want to keep track of things, but it's in Biblioboard, which is free. We've always had that link on our website, but Biblioboard app, they have a lot of good stuff on there that sometimes you can't find elsewhere. So I was really happy to find this on there, so we will put a link to that below. I talked about this before in one of my book talks recently, the Read Woke book talk, and then I talked about Tournament of Books, and this actually won the Tournament of Books, but I had already talked about it. But I just want to mention, we're doing this for our Community Read 2021. Charles Yu is a Chinese American author, and this book is getting a lot of acclaim. So watch my Read Woke video, or just look this up and read it with us, and join us on our Community Read. Okay, so then yes, in honor of sticking with the Chinese theme, I pulled two books that I have read in the past that I really loved, and they stayed with me. This one, I'll go start with first. This one came out in about 2000, I believe, and it's called Waiting by Ha Jin, and he's won awards. If you know literary authors, you've probably heard of him. So this one takes place in China through a span of from the 1960s through early 80s, and it's called Waiting because he is a doctor who works in the city, and then he comes home every now and then to the country where his wife is, but they do not really get along at all, and he's not in love with her. And then he falls in love with a nurse in the city, but divorce is really shunned, and his wife won't give him a divorce, and so he's waiting and waiting for the day that he can be with this nurse because they love each other. But the way the culture is, they can't be together. And it's written really well. I mean, it's called Waiting because he waits years and years and years. And then when he finally, things turn around and he's divorced from his rural wife, things do not, it's not paradise. It's not what he was expecting. It starts around that time of the Cultural Revolution, and so the customs and everything are so different to what I'm used to, and I appreciated seeing that kind of different view. But I really felt for this main character, the doctor, you see his life so vividly and how he's just aching at times, like for a change in his life. And then this one, unfortunately, we don't have in print here either, but you can get it in our system with your Stickney library card. We'll get it from any of the other libraries for you. This is called Lotus, a novel by Lijia Zhang. Now she's, like I said, a Chinese author. She based this loosely on her grandmother's life, like learning that her grandmother was a prostitute at a young age. And this main character, Lotus, goes to the city. She's a rural girl from the country, but she goes to the city, you know, to want to work, and she ends up in prostitution. And then what I liked about this is that even though that the content is, you know, it seems like it would be gritty, like a gritty novel, but it was a very sweet novel because this main character is very sweet, and people help her, and a few men fall in love with her, and so she has a way to get out of the prostitution, but I don't want to give too much away. And all the other characters in here, a lot of Chinese women characters that I felt like were well written, and you can just written about compassionately. So this one has stayed with me. So get some Chinese authors, get some Chinese American authors. There are some that I've talked about before. I wanted to talk about The Leavers by Lisa Ko, and then I realized, oh, I talked about that in my Immigrant Stories book talk, so look that one up. That's a great book called The Leavers by Lisa Ko, Chinese American. And yes, join me next month. Maybe I'll do some more Asian or Asian American authors, I think. Let me know if there's a topic you want me to do, and join us for our community read. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Stickney-Forest View Public Library's YouTube channel. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Stickney-Forest View Public Library District, where great things happen.